So today we're gonna talk about the future, what's gonna happen after the dollar collapses. So most of us get the good idea of going into gold. Why? Because gold was the standard used to back up all the money printed um, up until the end of the money standard, of the gold standard for money ever since we became fiat. Now, the thing for holding gold right now is, let's think the population that we have now compared to in the past, and how much gold actually exists. The idea of there not being enough gold for everybody, is ridiculous because you could really use small parts of gold. But the thing is, if you do want to use a gold coin, let's come to think of it. A gold coin right now, like this one that's a quarter of an ounce gold, it costs about 300 to 400. You know, right now it's like 350. But this price, once gold starts being used as currency, is extra demand that's going to be used on this gold, on top of having to back up a lot of the debt that we have. A lot of it is going to go bad, but you're still going to try to take out debt based on this gold. The price of this gold, I'm guessing, is going to go up 10 times on the gold standard. So this will be 3,500, and it's a pretty small coin. So maybe you could have a coin that this is 24 carats. Maybe if it's like 14 carats to 10 carats, then it'll be only 1,500. And then maybe you could break it down to like little parts. But still, even the tiniest part is gonna be worth still like $100, even if it's this tiny, teeny, tiny coin, of gold. So that's not really gonna work out very great. But if you look through history at how the gold standard worked, you'll find that through a lot of it, most places realize that what they should do is come in with silver. And the thing is, if you use just silver, see this silver coin right here, it's 1 ounce, quite big, and it's worth only $20 right now. The thing is, if we get an all silver account, then silver will also be worth about 10 times as much. So instead of $20, this will be like $200. And then you could use a much smaller denomination and get it down to like say 10 of silver. But silver, you always keep it around 90%. Some used to do about 50% silver. But still, I don't think you could get a smaller denomination than $10 of silver, which is better than gold, which the smallest denomination would be like 100. But, however, now if you come in, and what you do is you come in with both, like countries have done, in the past. And then the advantage of this is, not all because it's a lot of weight to bear on a metal to support the monetary system, because now the metal is not only used for its industrial purposes and for jewelry and all the things that is used. There's also that demand for the metal based on the fact that you use it for currency, and that's a huge thing to use it for. So what you will probably do then is adopt a standard in which you use both, and then each one goes up in value, but say 5 or 6 times instead of 10 times, or if it was gonna go up 20 times, it will only go up 10. So then the weight is more spread out, and you could handle it better. Let's say you could have large denominations, like say $100, and you could have one of these worth not in dollars per se, because the dollars would be worth it, but say the purchasing power of 100, or larger ones, and these would be for smaller purchasing power. So say if you have to buy something for like $1,000 purchasing power, $5,000 purchasing power, anything really above a couple hundred, you probably then would use gold. That will probably be the reason for that. And then for smaller purchases, $5 and up, you'll be able to use little silver coins, and then this one might be worth like also 100 or 200, and they will be like separate but equal. I think what you should do is let them float against each other. Like there's some countries like that will accept their own currency plus accept the dollar at the same time, and anything you buy pretty much you could pay in dollars or the national currency. So basically it would be like that. You have the option of paying both currencies. Their value will fluctuate. Now I think this is a really strong point for silver, because when silver right now, gold does have an extra demand other than the industrial, because banks hoard gold and a lot of people do see gold as money. So gold does have a demand as outside of its industrial demand. It does have a demand as currency, even though it's not as popular as it will be with the gold standard. Silver, however, really doesn't have much of a isn't as popular because banks don't hold any silver. Banks hold gold. So when banks do have to hold silver, because holding just gold as a gold standard would be impractical. It has to be bi-metalism. You'll find that that's the best way to for the future currency. Then that's gonna add a whole bunch of demand on silver, because banks have to hoard it and people are gonna use it. So right now the current ratio, which is 1 gold ounce to 65 silver ounces, I think is going to go probably to the natural ratio in which it's found, which is 1 ounce of gold per 10 ounces of silver. So that's a huge upside to silver as compared to gold, and it could even go higher than that, because a lot of times markets overshoot at one point. So maybe you could get like 5 ounces of silver will buy you a gold ounce, which in today's term, which would mean that this ounce of silver will go from $20 to like $400. So silver really holds much more of an upside now. Most people buy gold obviously because gold standard, first thing you think of is gold. But when you look throughout the world at how countries ran their gold standard, the ones that had gold standard, you'll find that a lot of countries had bi-metalism. They had silver just about as much as they use gold, and this is why, because if you hold only one currency, one metal, then you're highly susceptible. Like a lot of the countries that had the bi-metal standard, their silver actually suffered from a lot of inflation when all the other banks dropped silver as the reserve and made only gold or fiat. And all this extra silver came into the market, and their currency actually devaluated because of that. So, but that didn't really happen to gold, because banks still held on to their gold. Nobody let it go. But silver, it did. But I think that was something that's going to be reversed, and banks will take silver up again as a reserve in addition to gold. So thank you, and I hope you learn now the case for bi-metalism.